Welcome back everybody to Khaldor TV for more Heroes of the Storm action. We have another great game. We have TeamLiquid going up against Gamers2 today in a best-of-3 series that was played at the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final. And especially Gamers2, they have prepared some very interesting team compositions for this series. Dragonshire is our first map, and Gamers2, they went into Azmodan here, a hero that they haven't played for months. But on the European server, they were actually the team that played the hero back then the most. And it's of course all about getting the damage stacked up on your Q, on your Orb of Annihilation, but that means that you are going to be stronger and stronger towards the late game, but in the early mid game you are starting to struggle a bit. At TeamLiquid they know that. They even picked Lost Vikings here on this map, which is a great hero for Dragonshire, and of course they're going to try to apply a lot of early pressure against Gamers2. Which of the teams takes the lead in the best of 3 series is something that we're going to find out right now.
The first game between Gamers2 and TeamLiquid, and it will be a special one. Look at those lineups, enjoy them, just soak these names in. To the left side on Dragonshire in our first game of the best of 3 at the ZOTAC Cup season final, monthly final, it is Blackscorp on Tassadar. What happened there? We have Falcon on Kel'Thas, Lucifron on Tyrael, Grand Paquette on Malfurion, and Vortex on the Lost Vikings. To the right side of the map, it is Gamers2 with ADRD on Azmodan. Yeah, baby, you heard right. ADRD is playing Azmodan. Shiku is playing Chen. Nika Sylvanas. Leo from Poland is playing Uther. And Juve is playing Zeratul. So much to talk about here already, and the game hasn't even started. I'm loving every single second of this already. Look at Blackscorp here on Tassadar. He said that he loves all things melee. Well, that doesn't really apply to Tassadar here, so he's apparently... yeah, I think like he's a bit like the guy that was just like beaten into a position right now, and they were like, dude, we don't have spot for a melee assassin. He's like, but I, and they're like, we do not care, pick Tassadar. And he's like, but what? So yeah, regretting the day that he bought Tassadar right now, playing the hero though, and Juve on the other side is playing Zeratul, so he's not going to be too happy about that. So, let's talk a little bit about what we've all been thinking about. Azmodan, look at this. ADRD, that sexy skin that he's running here. We're having Azmodan playing, and a lot of people just always ask, what exactly is the idea behind Azmodan? And that's the idea. Taste of Blood. You get 2 additional damage for every minion that you kill, up to a maximum of 500. And Azmodan can get insane damage in. If you play Black Pool, then on level 10, the damage that you get with the ability enhancement is insane. And they're just like throwing it from one lane to another. In this case, not really hitting anything, but we are going to talk about Azmodan and his stack damage in a short time. On the other hand, we are seeing Tyrael as a counter pick for TeamLiquid, and Tyrael is actually very, very good against Azmodan because he can give the old minions a quick shield. So once that cannonball, that wrecking ball, that Orb of Annihilation moves in, you can get that damage in, and it is actually pretty damn cool to deny those stacks to Azmodan as the Lord of Terror. So in this case, we're having Azmodan trying to farm 2 of the lanes. He's going to throw those out. If you concentrate too much on the stacking, you miss quite a lot, but at the same time, you can just like keep it up, and then you're going to be in a good space. Also, Zeratul with his cleave can really help you out and make sure that you're going to get these stacks. We're seeing a build on the side of Juve. So far, only Regeneration Master taken level 1. The same talent, by the way, that we're seeing for Chen, which is, in this case, the solo tank for Gamers2. Another oddity in this game, since Chen kind of fell off the meta train in the past few weeks. So I am curious to see if they're going for the auto attack build on Zeratul, which is right now very strong. It's very, very strong and kinda in vogue. So there's already the bound minion trade on level 4. Oh, looks like we're going to see, yes, the first Dragon Knight already for TeamLiquid. They're getting it here, and no, it's not the auto attack build on Zeratul. They're going for Gathering Power. That makes a lot of sense as well. Both of the builds are completely viable here. Why is Gathering Power not a bad choice here? Even though auto attack is more popular these days. Oh, nice body block from Lucifron. They do not get the kill against ADRD, but it was a close one. Coming back to the Zeratul issue though, the reason is simple. We have the Vikings against you, and Viking kills, every single Viking kills counts as a full stack for your Zeratul. So as long as you start killing Vikings and you continue doing so, you will have full stacks on Zeratul. It's pretty easy to get those, and that's one of the reasons why against Vikings it kind of makes sense to go into that build. But I feel that originally when they started with that, they were thinking about going for auto attack. Once again, did you see that? The orb hits, and a second later, Juve is using his cleave. You don't have to necessarily kill right away with the orb to get the extra stacks. If there's another hero that eliminates the targets just half a second after the orb hits, then it still counts. And right now, 80 already has, as you can see, 42 bonus damage. Once that you have 80 bonus damage, that's actually a very, very important number, because once you have 80, what you can do is you can, with your Black Pool later on, immediately take down one wave with Black Pool. Really important number, and that is something that we are going to see, of course. Level 7 is now there. We've been talking a lot about Zeratul, we've been talking about the Chen a bit, and we've been talking about, like, Azmodan, but look at that jump here, going deep for those kills. Shihu is already there, soaking the tower ammunition, which is one of the things that you can do with Chen. Just running away, leaves Zeratul for the wolves, and Zeratul is like, hey dude, why do you leave me alone? And Chen is like, well dude, I'm a big fat panda, I don't really like you, and I'm just gonna get out of there. At least he's trying, but that was a good block by Black Scorp. Oh, and looks like Shihu is not going to escape. Great rotations by TeamLiquid, getting their kills in. 2 kills against 0.25. In regards to the builds, Azmodan, of course, going for the Infernal Globe on level 7. We're having Unstable Poison taking for Sylvanas, so it's the push build for Sylvanas in this case. We're having Promote, by the way, on the side of on the side of Tassadar. On him, Promote is a bit more common these days. We've been talking about the North American meta, where a lot of the heroes are taking Promote, and Brightwing being one of them. In Europe, Brightwing is mostly taking Protective Shield regardless, but on Tassadar it makes a bit more sense to shift the talent around, since the Healing Ward isn't as strong as it was in the past anymore. You can go for Mental Acuity if you feel that you need the added cooldown reduction on your Oracle, which oftentimes happens against Zeratul, but Promote is also a very valid option, and that's exactly what Black Scorp went for here. The Fission Bomb taken on Kel'Thas, and we're having also battle momentum now with an amplified healing on level 1, as Regeneration Master has been picked on 2 heroes. The Viking Horde, of course, on the Vikings, but Regeneration Master basically nearly the same talent, taken on the side of Tyrael, and amplified healing since he's the sole healer in the game. So Vortex is moving in with the second Dragon Knight, and I mean, people might watch this game saying like, oh my god, TeamLiquid is wrecking them. And it's usually what happens when you're playing an Azmodan composition, that in the early game you are losing out on a lot of strength. Yeah, your damage comes in later, when Azmodan has a lot of stacks, when Azmodan can push these lanes with a single Globe of Annihilation and just push them back, and also do a lot of damage in team fights because he gets a good Globe in. That's what really matters there. But of course you can't fall too far behind. If that happens, then you are in trouble, and that's exactly what TeamLiquid is currently trying to exploit. They know that, of course, as well. So they are trying to just dominate the early game as much as they can, since they know that later on Azmodan could cause them a lot of trouble. And if the Azmodan stacks are gonna be very, very high, then like, don't take that guy like TZ. He is very strong. There's the 10. Black Pool is gonna come into play, and right now, looking at it, we are having Azmodan with 94 stacks already. And he already chose Black Pool. For the disengage, we have Wandering Keg up at the top lane. Shihu is still trying to at least deplete the ammunition on the fort and battle with the Vikings, who took Longbow, of course. Judgment, Phoenix, Archon, all talents that you really would have expected here. We're seeing in the mid lane now, Nika on the Sylvanas starting to move in, of course. Wailing Arrow has been taken here, and we're seeing the Divine Shield plus the additional Void Prism as a good setup for the Wailing Arrow. And also, of course, if you time it perfectly, a Globe of Annihilation. 80 already, just look at that, like, he gets the damage in. This is exactly what I've been talking about earlier, that threshold at 80, and with the Black Pool you just get these in. And then you just like go from lane to lane. You can basically throw from the bot lane up to the top, and in a case like that, you push 2 lanes, and you push them back really fast. So the idea is to keep the lanes pushing against your opponent, get your stacks in, prepare for the team fights later on, and there's another Globe, and that wave nearly immediately evaporates, and by now he has 136 extra stacks, and we are going to talk about his damage in the near future. Just look about damage in general just for a bit. Azmodan right now only 5,000 hero damage. Makes sense, of course. He's been focusing a lot on the waves. He has 40,000 damage when it comes to siege damage, and that, of course, yeah, it's kind of what you expected, or what you should have expected. We're having Juve, Leo, and Nika at the bot lane. They're trying to defend against this, but they will lose that camp, or will they? Oh, well, I think for a second they were thinking about trying to contest that, but they don't. The 13 talent is faster for TeamLiquid, and in this case, what they are running here, it is the Imposing Will. We're having Life Seed. There's no need for Malfurion here, no real jumper threat, no big need for him to go into anything else, and Life Seed is just going to increase his numbers rapidly when it comes to healing. There's the distortion beam for the additional slow, and we're seeing flamethrower being used. So interesting talents to take, especially flamethrowers, of course, great for the poking. ADRD is just ready with another black pool, can already use that, and there it is. Gets the damage in again. Boom. Look at the damage against Falcon. Did you see that? Like, he lost roughly a fifth of his hit points by just one glow. And that's in the early stages still, when Azmodan doesn't even have 200 stacks. That is going to get crazy later on. Dragon Knight again though, even with that presence at the top lane, Gamers2 not able to deny the Dragon Knight. And this is of course where it really starts to get a bit dicey. Your opponent is exploiting the fact that at the beginning of the match, Azmodan is rather weak. He is getting stronger and stronger as the game continues, but still, this is starting to get a bit difficult for them right now. ADRD is once again there. They are starting to go in. You can laser that away. You can really use that laser on him. There comes the damage. Oh, but not enough. And good cleanse. Shaiku is getting away. But the Phoenix is already starting to wreck that float line. Azmodan needs to be careful where he is because he's a bit too far out there for sure. Starting to laser Vortex on this Dragon Knight. Has March of Sinnoh level 13. Now I can use that. There comes another Globe. Doesn't really hit anything though. And we're seeing them now with Wormhole, with Relentless. And yeah, actually, like, maybe Relentless was already enough to negate that stun that we saw there. I'm not quite sure if Uther really used his cleanse. He might not have. He didn't really think about Relentless. A lot of the tanks lost Relentless. But, well, Chen not being one of them. Looking at the damage here now, of course the Globe is also pretty good against the Vikings. They are kind of low when it comes to hit points. Azmodan is getting a bit more damage in, but it's still not something to really write home about. It's more the siege damage that works for him. Even more siege damage than Sylvanas in this case. But yeah, still TeamLiquid ahead. And that is the usual picture that you see when you're having an Azmodan composition on one team. That one team, it will just be a bit ahead. Oh, they are putting Malfurion in a really bad... Great Void Prism here, isolating Malfurion, trying to, but it looks... Oh, the Divine Shield in the last second, but Uther is down, and oh my god, they're losing 3 heroes here. And the initiation with the Judgment against ADRD on his... Oh, Azmodan. And, well, the Lord of Hatred is dead. That did not turn out the way that they wanted to. The setup with the Void Prism was actually very, very nice, isolating Malfurion, but then in the last second he's able to move into the Void Prison, and this is extremely bad news right now. The stack damage is currently at 200, that's solid, but it's still not absolutely crazy good, so you're not in a position yet where you can really threaten the opponent's team with those globes. You can annoy them, you can poke them, but you won't be able to get your easy kills against Eric or anything like that. So at this point, it's really starting to spiral a bit out of control. That last fight did not help Gamers2 at all. The Polish team is in trouble there, especially since Vortex is keeping one of his heroes always way far off. Look at that damage. Half of the hit points, more than half of the hit points of Eric are already gone. But as I said before, he's only at 200 extra damage with the stacks, so he needs more than that. The problem, of course, that Gamers2 is running into now is that they are facing a team that knows very well how to play against Azmodan, since they've done that countless times in the past, and that really helps them to just keep the pressure up. 11 minutes in, and one of the keeps is already down. That just showcases how aggressive TeamLiquid is playing here and how they are exploiting their chances, because they know if this ends up in a half-an-hour game, ADRD is going to do massive damage on his Azmodan, and that's why they want to end it as fast as they can, or at least get a massive advantage. Level 16 with a Hardened Focus, Blood for Blood, and of course Ignite, which is amazing for TeamLiquid. They're pushing this now with 2 camps, and that is where Azmodan really needs to start throwing his globes again, but of course there's also the cooldown to consider. Another 3 for him, another 2 for the Black Pool. Black Pool needs to be activated right now, and there it is, and he's trying to get those down. Does quite a bit of damage on that, but they still won't even have the level 16 talent. We're seeing the Dragon Knight again being taken. That is, of course, the beauty of Lost Vikings on Dragonshire, that you can take that. Look at that now. Azmodan with another hit, just annihilating this one. The Dragon Knight is currently taking forts up at the top, 18 versus 15. From a tactical perspective, this is just such an amazing game from a tactical and strategical point of view. Just like thinking about all these things. If you don't really understand the game too much, you just look at it, you of course see that there's a huge difference in levels and also experience between the two teams, but still, TeamLiquid is playing this exactly the way that they should, and they need to do more damage, and they are doing an amazing job there. We're having ADRD by now at 280 extra stacks. So he's really starting to do a lot more damage. His level 16 talent gives him a potential blood for blood, imposing presence that he could take there. There's a few choices that he can go for depending on the situation in the game. And yeah, look at that, 1000 damage per hero already. So he is starting to get his damage in. Looking at the numbers, he is currently surpassing every other hero in his own team with hero damage. He's on 26,000 hero damage. Sylvanas, for example, is only at 14,000. So if they are able to close the gap in experience, then Gamers2 might have a chance to fight their way back. If you pick Azmodan and go for a composition like this, you know that in the early game you will sacrifice a lot of the pressure that you have. You have good pushing potential, but if you're going for the stack build, which is the common one, then you will have a very bad team fight at the beginning and you will have to rely on that later on in the game. And that's what they're trying to. But TeamLiquid is exploiting this so well. I'm loving the way that TeamLiquid is currently running this. Taking down one keep, having the second one at the bot lane already this low, controlling the map, the objectives. This is what they had to do. This is what they are doing. And in the team fights, especially Vortex, making sure that his Vikings are currently going for the objectives is great. Since in the team fights, for example, Eric by now would probably be... He's close to getting one-shotted. Yep, ADRD with another one. Gets that one. Oh, look at that damage by now. This is really getting pretty strong. How much extra damage does he have? He's on 340. They're slowly and steadily starting to talk, but they need to win a fight. They have not won. They haven't killed a single hero except for the Vikings. 6 kills against 0.75. That's what we're seeing. But look at this damage that is being done here. That is really something. ADRD is now suddenly a threat, but 2 keeps are down. Can you recover from this position with 2 keeps already down? Another one hitting. At some point, pretty soon, he doesn't even need the black pool anymore to eliminate an entire wave, and he's already starting to run out of mana. Stack points, 364. We're closing in on the 400. If you get to 500, your stacks are being capped, but that's, of course, still means that you have a lot. Once again, a bit of help from Shiku in this case, making sure that those minions really die. Level 16 talent now with a double blood for blood, by the way. I didn't really point out that Azmodan took blood for blood indeed, but we have level 20 for their opponents, and that means a double bolt of the storm, hardened shield, and Ragnarok and roll. The problem is really that kinda now Gamers2 has to win a fight in the mid, because if they don't, Dragonite, it can potentially end the game. And there it is already, and this is what TeamLiquid is gonna try and do right now. End the game right now. Go through the mid, burst down that core, and make sure that Azmodan never gets in a position where they can use him in this team fights like they want to. There's the damage though. Good damage against the team, but not enough, and that Dragonite is doing work. Getting lasered by ADRD already, and look how fast he's actually going down in hit points. Once again, Black Pool. There comes the damage. Doesn't get enough in just yet. Shiku is trying to get away, and there comes the Divine Shield to keep him alive, but at the same time a root against Malfurion takes him down. Lucifon interrupts the laser from Azmodan, interrupts the channel, and they are getting the kill. Yeah, he gets a kill in as well, but this is just not enough. Great play, perfect play against this hero by TeamLiquid, and they take game number 1 in the best of 3 series against Gamers2.
TeamLiquid with amazing pressure in the early and the mid game, and especially at the end, Azmodan finally starting to do his damage here, but at that time TeamLiquid was already controlling the match. They had a huge advantage in levels, and they were also taking down structures left and right. Very, very well done by TeamLiquid here. They take the lead, and we're going to move on into our second match, which is going to take place on Cursed Hollow. And once again, Gamers2 delivers. The Polish team with Nova as one of their key heroes in the setup here. TeamLiquid, on the other hand, even going into Arthas as their main tank. So a very cool series that we're having in general here with the team compositions. And Gamers2 not afraid to experiment a bit and to try out new things. And we're going to find out right now if they're successful with that, if they can tie the series up and force a third game, or if TeamLiquid is going to take this with a 2-0.
Game number 2 between TeamLiquid and Gamers2. The last game we saw Azmodan. This game we are going to top that off with a Nova and an Arthas. To the left side, of course, Hollow, our second map. It is TeamLiquid with Vortex on Kalthas, Black Scorp on Zeratul. And the fangirls go, ah! We're having Lucifron on Arthurs, Gran Paquetto on Brightwing, and Falcon on Sylvanas. To the right side is Gamers2, the Polish team. Napirdalai, they need a victory, and they need it now. Juve with Illidan, Leo from Korea on Uther, Shiko on Mirrodin, AD on Nova, and Nika on Vala. They are going to do their best to get that victory, to force a third map, and this is going to be a fun one. Level 1 for Nova is of course the increased snipe damage when you come out of Cloak. You're trying to go into that burst damage, and look at that, Lucifron is just getting face check here. Wow! Prince Arthur's in the face. Well, yeah, that didn't really work out the way that they intended that to work. Vortex and Falcon, which is like watching, and I don't really know what Arthurs was thinking in that case. He was probably like, help, hi, team, and then he went down. So Black Scorp is on Zeratul, his favorite hero here. That alone is already a pleasure to watch. And then having a Nova in the game that can go for the roam is of course crazy good. We're having a couple of heroes that are really nice when it comes to roaming. We're having Nova in the setup, we're having Zeratul. Zeratul or another hero could roam with Arthurs a bit. We're already having Vortex rotating down to the bot lane now, where they are trying to help out against Nika and Leo. And over here, Mirrodin and Nova are just waiting. Mirrodin already moving in, and that allows now Nova to go back out. Yep, there comes the stun and also the damage against Lucifron, getting that in, losing from low. Oh, well done here with the Howling Blast, but still, the Prince is low, very low indeed. And at the bot lane, Sylvanas is of course trying to do her thing with the Black Arrow and trying to take the wall. The talents that we are seeing, Reverberation taken on level 1 for of course the Thunderclap. Therefore, the reduction on the attack speed. We're seeing on level 1 for Kel'Thas, Mana Addict taken, the Scouting Drone once again, which is also kind of important here, especially of course also against someone like Nova. And the Prince himself, he goes for block on the first talent. Up to the top lane, what do we have here? Juve and Black Scorp, the two melee assassins, up against another. The battle of the ages. Who's it gonna be? Black Scorp riding the wolf, stylish, and we're having the carpet for Illidan. So both of them, I approve. Good, like, looks good, looking good. Only question is, can they really follow that up with some nice skill moves? We're already seeing the next talents taken for the heroes on both sides. We're having a double gathering power on Kel'Thas and also on Zeratul. No auto attack build for Zeratul here. It is destruction for Arthurs. It's a very common talent for Arthurs to take now. We see the hero a bit more often these days in the current meta. Lucifron, of course, has been playing Arthurs for ages. Back when the hero was extremely popular, he was one of the best Arthurs players that we had in the world, especially in Europe. But right now, they are really starting to do the work in the current patch and trying to use that hero once again. We're seeing also protective shields taken. Oh, nice stun against Nika. Barely gets away on his Vala, but the same is true for Sylvanas. So the first tribute is now coming into play, and well, Nova of course trying to get the additional damage in once more. And so far hasn't even picked the fourth talent. Finally we're seeing it. Gathering power has been taken just now, and AD is trying to get his snipes in. So getting the scouting drone already out of the way. Vortex is still there, cancelling the tribute attempts. AD is just sitting in the bush. Nya gets revealed and needs to move back. Is there maybe a heal ready? Nika, Lucifron rotating in, both of the teams on level 6, and yeah, good jump here from Shiko just in the last second. He already knew that that Howling Blast was coming. AD is sniping again, and just look at those hit points on Falcon. Even without those talents and later on level 7, that was a lot of damage done already. Falcon in trouble here. At the top lane, two melee assassins are still fighting it out. And down here, the mid lane actually by now also occupied, since we have Lucifron and Chihu both trying to go for level 7 to help the talent the team out with an additional talent. Looks like Leo, oh, I guess if he would have positioned himself a bit farther to the top, he would have done this one. Oh, Falcon eating again. Another snipe. AD on his Nova is doing work, but the level 7 talent comes into play a bit faster for TeamLiquid. The Spanish team has an advantage here. Gust of Healing, Rune Tap for Arthurs, first aid taken, and now Gamers2 need to try and stall this out long enough so that they get the 7 talent in as well, and there it is. They're seeing immediately, of course, the first aid also taken for the melee assassin on the side of the Polish team. Illidan is going for the talent here, and we are having Nova with the anti-armor shells taken here for the burst damage. All that burst that you want to get. Battle momentum on Mirrodin. A kill against Sylvanas, and that is really putting them in a great position now, the Polish team that is. They should be able to get that tribute. 6 more seconds, and Kel'Thas is also very low. Sylvanas is now back in the game, but the tribute already in the hands of Gamers2. And keep in mind that they are one map behind. Like, they lost the first map, so they really need to win this one if they want to have a chance of going to the finals. Uber, Blackscorp at the top lane going up against each other here now with the first aid that they have. Both of them have a bit more to stay. Lucifron is there, activating the Frozen Tempest, trying to lock Illidan down. He misses the Howling Blast, but it doesn't matter. Illidan just doesn't stand a chance there. It's already a bit too low, and he goes down. Good rotation from TeamLiquid. Very good rotation from them. Nova, on the other hand, she wants to soak experience and maybe even get a hit or two in. We're also seeing now in the mid lane, Sylvanas back to business. Falcon is trying to soak here, and with the poison or the unstable poison on level 7, you can of course also push the lanes. Next Tribute comes on the map. Great position for the Tribute, by the way, when it comes to TeamLiquid. Gamers2 will have to go pretty deep for this one if they really want it. And up here, Lucifron is being discovered. Juve, he wants now. He doesn't really want to go for the Prince. We're having... that is going to be a close one. Well, not as close as I thought. There comes the Storm Bolt. No Piercing Bolt taken on Shihu from Moradin. He went for Battle Momentum. It's going to help him not only with the Thunderclap and Piercing Bolt cooldown, but also with the Avatar later, which is, of course, very important. Good Haunting Wave, but Shihu really wants Sylvanas. He really wants Sylvanas, but he doesn't get her. But it was a close one regardless. Blackscorp is there, gets locked down, gets attacked, uses first aid, and Blackscorp eats the arrow. This guy just not making it yet. He doesn't have Wormhole yet, and yeah, at this point, this is 10 versus 9. Even with the heroic ability just barely coming in, couldn't do anything here. It was a few seconds too late, maybe half a second. Army of the Dead being used, Phoenix, Void Prism, and the Wailing Arrow, as we are now seeing the 10s coming also into play for Gamers2. The Polish team here, Avatar. Going for Strafe, the Divine Shield. Nice kill against Kel'Thas. That bad boy just doesn't have any hit points. He's a glass cannon. He's a bit like the male version of Jaina. Not quite the same thing, but both of them having a lot of damage, but just not a lot of hit points. Once again, there's also Nova. She's in a very, very similar situation. Precision Strike has been taken. Blackscorp blinks away. Nah, good idea, ADRD, but that was the wrong spot. But a very nice prediction here. Making a bold move like this, making such a call, you have to do that every now and then, and that could have worked, and then Zeratul is down like this. It's of course the heroic ability, but let's face it, the cooldown on Precision Strike is not really all too bad. Anyways, it's 50 seconds, 60 actually, my bad. So therefore, that's really something that you can live with. We're currently seeing to the bot lane, still Grandpa Keto on Brightwing. It's of course one of the pleasures to have him in the game, that you can... First of all, he's always looking for friends, so if you need somebody to help you out, Brightwing is there for you. But also, you have that split push experience, and that's what we're seeing here. Leo from Korea actually nearly going down, but the Divine should be used in the last second. Great Wailing Arrow though, but that heroic is already done, and look at that Phoenix placement. Oh, what a nice zoning. Ooh, Juve with a Metamorphosis, but a good... That was actually a very, very nice shield that we saw there. Void Prison. A kill against Illidan, thanks to the Howling Blast that we saw Lucifron start as the Void Prism was going down. Very well done here. Oh god, I'm loving this, like the combos that we're seeing here. First of all, Void Prism into Howling Blast, all that damage, the Wailing Arrow before even zoning them out, the Phoenix making sure that TeamLiquid gets into that position, and now the team's rotating throughout the map again, with actually 2 of the tributes ending up in the hands of Gamers2 so far. So they are really, really doing a very, very nice job here. Both of the teams are level 12 versus level 12, and this is just a pleasure to watch. Look at that, Gravity Lapse against Vala. They're getting 2 heroes. They killed Nova and Vala out. And of course we have Juve now at the same time trying to go for the objectives here on the map. In this case it's the mercenaries that he really wants to take down so that they have a bit more pushing power. 4 kills against 4 kills and a boss attempt by TeamLiquid. And that is not contested or countered by a boss to the top. Really, this... oh god, this is fun. This is really fun. Ah, look at Sylvana. Sylvana's already saying like, alright, screw that Nova. I hate that, yeah, girl. Because she's sniping me all day long and I need a spell shield for that. It's a bit of a catfight that we have between the 2 of them. It's, well, Sylvana's, she's not as hot as Nova, but she's pretty much, like, she's at least a 9, right? I mean, I would give her a 9. Nova is very, very close to a 10. Both of them are absolutely gorgeous, and of course you have a bit of a catfight there. They both want the hot guys, they both want Illidan. Well, maybe Arthur's, he's a prince at least, so he's gonna be bound to have some money. But yeah, the fight is real, and now Sylvanas wants to have the upper hand against Nova, and that's why we're seeing Spell Shield on 13. And that talent is of course amazing for them, now that the next tribute is up. Wow! Gamers2 is going deep for this one. I can't believe that they're really trying to do this. Yeah, well, that was a bit too greedy, boys. Sorry, no Latvo in this case. This time they get wrecked. They didn't have the 13. Illidan is jumping away, but that's not gonna help him for too long. Divine Shield, boom, boom, straight in the face, double kill, and Juve is trying to jump away. Should be able to. No. Oh, wow. Well done here. Even a last second sweep there brings him out of this of the zone of Brightwing's damage deal. But that was just too deep. There was no reason for Gamers2 to commit to this. They were jumping in, the Phoenix and everything. There was an extra talent for the opponent. That means Wormhole. That means the Biting Cold with the Frozen Tempest makes it more difficult for you to get away. There's also Flamethrower. Yeah, that was a questionable call we saw there. They just got a bit too greedy. It's of course always one of those things where just TeamLiquid played it really nice, but now this is a very difficult one to take since you're 2 levels behind and they are late to the party. That tribute spawns at the wrong side of the map. Shiku is jumping in and he has to. Nika on the other hand gets healed in the last second. They're going for Blackscorp. They're going for Blackscorp. They kill Blackscorp. They get him. They get him. The Phoenix is doing work, a whole bunch of it. Shiku is still alive on his avatar, but he needs to move back here. AD, can he snipe somebody? They're trying to. Precision Strike is back. Precision Strike is back in action. Divine Shield on Nova, keeping her alive. There comes the Precision Strike, but nobody's being killed by it. The counter kills against Muradin and also Illidan. And now, without the front line being in place, they need to move back. Gran Paquete, he wants Nova. Brightwing is looking for friends, and it looks like Brightwing found somebody. Yep, Gran Paquete, Nova, invisible. Just gets away, barely. Haunting Wave. Oh my god. And Sylvana winning the cat fight here. Yep, there's also a curse now. And the TeamLiquid is starting to push Gamers2 back. Good, I'm liking that Nova pick, but in these last few fights, it just didn't work out the way that they wanted. The 16 talent is now ready for TeamLiquid, and it's just so damn good. Nova has solid damage, but just not enough. That last precision strike in that fight, if that hits, then Arthas is down, but he expected Arthas to try and run away, and Arthas just didn't. He just stood in the middle like a boss and was tanking it. Now Muradin goes down. It's a 5 versus 3, and that is just a battle that you cannot win. Once again, they're moving in for another kill, this time against Leo, and that keep is not gonna make it. They take down the structure. This is, yeah, Gamers2 is looking down at the rebel that formerly was Heat at the bot lane, and this is of course a devastating position for them. They're missing out on a talent, and they're nearly 4 levels behind. That is not a good position to be in. Can they start a comeback here though? Can they somehow get back into this? Once again, the mid lane is being assailed, and oh, wow, Zeratul jumping, and just look at that damage that he just did to Nova. Moved back out with a wormhole, but just from the double bombs and also from his cleave, that damage alone is crazy. It's of course the stacks that really matter here. Let's just look at the stacks real quick. We have 5 stacks on Zeratul, and we're having 5 stacks on Kalthas. Oh, actually we don't. We have 2 stacks on Zeratul. My bad. Yeah, he died. He died at the tribute fight. That's right, at the wall. But Kalthas still has his 5 stacks together, and that means that he is of course doing an insane amount of damage by now with every single flame strike that he hits. Sylvanas is still ahead of him, but still, the level 16 talent just came into play a few seconds ago, so with that, he can always get even more damage in, and that's probably what we're going to see throughout the rest of the game. Nova needs to make sure that she gets her stacks up. She doesn't have a single one at this point because she just died a few seconds ago. But yeah, right now they are just attempting to fight on the 16s. And we're seeing on level 13 now the lethal decoy and the double fake on level 16, in case you were wondering. So the abilities that we kind of expected here. No benediction on the other hand on Uther. Instead it's Shrink Ray to lock down Zeratul and Arthas a bit, depending on who really engages upon the squishies. We're having for Muradin, Thunderstrike and Stoneform, as you would expect. In this case, actually, I feel Muradin could have even gone for a Spell Shield. Of course, that Thunderstrike is amazing damage that you have on your Thunderclap, but if you are running as a solo tank in the team and you have to go very, very deep against someone like, well, Zeratul, Sylvanas and also Kalthas, then you might consider going into Spell Shield. The problem is that Spell Shield, yeah, how much damage does it really absorb? That's always one of the things that you have to really take into consideration. Boss attempt. But a rotation from TeamLiquid. They're not going for boss at the bot lane. They rotate. They want to take the fight at the top, and the boss has been aggroed. Shihu sees everything. Nika is there. Brightwing jumping in. They're trying to go. Are they going for Lucifer? I don't think so. Here comes the Howling Blast. Black Scorp jumping in. Bala moving over. Oh my god, look at that damage. Wow, that was only Black Scorp. Black Scorp with his Zeratul. The damage that he dishes out, and Nika is dead. Nope, 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 there's a shield. Protective shield saves him. Just barely. It was all about the shield here. So he's still alive, gets healed up again. Black Scorp moving in, and more damage to Nika. Black Scorp doing work in this case. He's really doing work, and it shows. 23,000 hero damage on him. They're moving in once more. Can they come back? Here comes the silence against Illidan. He hates to be silenced. So does Muradin, though. And they are turning this around with the Divine Shield already being used. Army of the Dead being summoned by Arthurs. The Root and Nika with a strafe getting the damage into the backline. But Illidan is dead. Does not get away here. Nika with a Frost Shot is keeping them in position and moves back. No problem for him. ADRD trying to get damage in, but he never really gets even close to the backline. And that's the biggest problem that he has here. Muradin is already down. ADRD is being hunted, and Black Scorp takes down Nova, jumps back. Nova doesn't stand a chance here. Black Scorp just too damn good. And now the second keep is falling. They're going straight for it, moving up to the mid lane, taking this one, and now they might even be able to... Well, they can't just go for boss. They can't just go for the boss now, and they're already moving in. They're taking the boss up at the top, and with that they can also get the first tribute. There's only one tribute that's here, but still, that is something that they of course can take already, and they might even rotate down to the bot lane and take boss number 2, but to be honest, I don't even think so. The level 20 talent and a boss at the top, you should get keep. And they're really rotating, wow. No, are they going with a boss? They're not. I'm actually surprised. Okay, they're welling up and then they're probably moving in. Apparently Lucifer wants to have a bit more mana. I'm really surprised by that. I feel if you have that boss moving at the top lane and you are level 20, you want to abuse the fact that you have an extra talent over your opponent. And that allows you to just like go in and keep that fight going, take the keep down. But apparently they want to go down to the bot lane and take this one. Maybe a bit too safe even. Like, they're so far ahead, so I don't really think it matters, because the chances that Gamers2 is going to close the gap in experience in this reaching level 20 are slim to none. But in this position, I think it would have been absolutely justified to just push the top lane with the extra talent, a 3-level stat lead and the boss, and make sure that you get that keep, and therefore the last keep in the game. As is, they're apparently just trying to use the boss at the bot lane to end it with that, and which is absolutely fine as well. And this is apparently what's going to be the plan. They're trying to go for... Wow, Kel'Thas with a gravity lapse against Nova. There comes the precision strike, doing decent damage, but Nova is already dead, and that's not the start into the fight that you're looking for. Muradin and the rest are trapped by the Void Prism. He was jumping, trying to jump over it, but the Dwarf doesn't jump that high. And again, the silence here to the left side with the Polymorph. And again, rewind, making it possible. A double rewind. One on Zeratul and one on Brightwing. The boss is already moving in. Shihu is low. Jumps back again with a good stun. But it... Oh, wow! That heal by Leo keeps him alive. But Bala is dead. And that is concluding the game, of course, already. Gamers2 defeated with a 2-0, showed us some beautiful comps here, and unfortunately for them weren't really working out. But it is TeamLiquid that win the semi-final with a 2-0 at the ZOTAC Cup Monthly and advances to the final round. Congratulations to them.
TeamLiquid taking it again. A 2-0 victory against Gamers2. Very well played by them here. Once again, TeamLiquid just showing why they are so dominant on the European server. And of course, in this case, unfortunately for Gamers2, the strategies that they were experimenting with didn't really work out for them. There were a couple of fights where with a bit more luck, they might have been able to take down a hero or two and snowball it from there. But as is, they lose the best of 3 series against TeamLiquid. The Spanish team again successful. So congratulations to them. And a really enjoyable series with very interesting team compositions. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, give the video a thumbs up if you want to see more content like that. And I'm going to see you soon with more Heroes of the Storm on Khaldor TV. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. And guys, have a good one. Bye bye.